G'day! Today we're going to be looking at another game made by Tom McIntyre for GWBasic. But before we do take a look at the game, I'd just like to say I've got myself a new microphone and I'm hoping that it sounds a lot better than my old one. But it certainly is quite a bit more sensitive, so you'll probably hear little bits of background noise here and there. Unfortunately, I'm not really able to help it. Anyhow, let's take a look at the game. It's called Pop-Off, which is actually really kind of funny because if someone is said to pop off here in Australia, we often think of them as having passed wind. So it's probably not the best name for a game, although I'm sure he wasn't thinking of that at the time. Let's start it up. Okay, so this is pretty much exactly the same as a game called Same Game. It's got a load of different names depending on which where you played it first. But basically the idea is you click on, say, one of these fellas here, and all the ones that are the same colour will disappear. And depending on the options you set in the game, the other ghosts around will move to fill up the area. Sometimes they won't move at all, I think, depending on the options. Let's take a look at the options before we really get stuck into the game. Same as the other one, I have to right-click when my mouse disappears, which is interesting. I think the mouse cursor is meant to disappear when there's some graphical animation going on. So it could be that there's a bug in his code somewhere. But anyhow, the options... we get to pick whether we have sounds and animation. Of course, we're going to want the sounds and animation. And these are the different options that you can pick. So drop will mean that the ghosts drop further down as you eliminate more ghosts. More, I think that makes more appear. Slew, I think that might be sideways movement. And mega, I'm not entirely sure. So what we might do is we might actually have a go on all four of those modes and see what happens. Let's take a look on the help, because I'm sure that'll give us some more information about the game. Okay, made by Tom McIntyre. Written for DOS PCs, of course. Akin to a Windows program called Pop'em. Okay, well, there you go. But obviously that isn't the first incarnation of this game, and it certainly wasn't the last. So there's a lot of different names for this game. It was made with GWBasic and compiled with QuickBasic. So the version I'm playing is actually in the native GWBasic compiler from the source code. But I'm sure that there was a compiled version floating around the BBSs and the internet back in the day. The object of Pop-Off, this sort of part of the game is just telling us how to play. Okay, I think that's sort of all fairly self-evident there. Yeah, we'll just explore these different options by checking them and seeing what happens. Okay, so let's start off with drop. I think that's probably a good place to start. We'll start off with a new game, knowing that they're going to drop down. We'll just play that. So what we'll do is we'll have a little bit of music whilst I play this until there are no more turns. Okay, there we are. Made quite a few mistakes in playing that, but certainly quite interesting and plays the game quite well, although it is a little bit slow running it in the interpreter. Probably would have been much faster in the compiled version though. Okay, so something I wasn't expecting was for the sort of the ghosts to move over to one side when you eliminated one from the bottom, but that does make sense. I thought maybe the slew one would do that. let's try the next option and see how that plays. Yes, I know the game is over. You don't have to repeat it. Alright, let's take a look. And hopefully this time I'll make some better decisions. Because I certainly made quite a few bad ones that time. Okay, cue music again. Okay, I did eventually finish this one. I made a mistake and got myself stuck. This mode is basically infinite if you're good enough. So this is probably a better reflection of skill, in a sense that you could keep going rather than just having the limited number of ghosts that you have on the screen at the time. So that's quite interesting, and that's certainly quite fun to play. Let's go and have a look in the options again. Pick the next one along. So that was more. Let's try and see what slew looks like. This time I might use the happy face. Just for something a little bit different. Oh, of course, I need a new game too. To be honest, I think I preferred the ghosts. But anyway, let's get stuck in, see how we go. Okay, that one was not infinite, and it was a little bit different in its mechanics. Still quite interesting. So, like the first mode, it's limited by the number of, in this case, smiley faces you have on the screen. So there is theoretically a maximum score. But hopefully you can do better than I did, because that was pretty woeful. Let's move on to the next mode and see what it does. So, Mega. Yeah. I wonder what that one does. I actually rather the ghosts, so I'm going to go back to the ghosts because I actually thought they were cooler looking. Yeah, that is better. The ghosts are better. Okay, let's take a look. Right, so let's get stuck in. Some more music incoming. Okay, that one was actually a very interesting mode. It's kind of a combination of all three. So let's go back here. So this one, the drop white mode, just basically has a limited number of tiles and they fall straight down. The more mode includes them falling straight down, but also adds new ones if you clear a column at the very left hand side. I think it also moves them to the right as well. So it pushes them in a little bit like that. Slew. How is that different? Oh, I'd have to go back to see that one again to see what's different about that one. Oh, yes, I remember. So with Slew, if there is one that's sort of like, say, here on its own, it would gravitate sliding along these pieces to over here, whereas with the other two modes, it just sort of sticks there. I think I'm going to have another go at the Mega one, and I'll see if I can actually do a bit better. It seems that you pretty much have to concentrate on eliminating ones on this bottom row, as well as the upper rows, just so that you can keep getting new ghosts to appear, so that you can keep scoring. So let's have another go, and then we'll take a look and see what the high scores are like. Okay, I got a significantly higher score. The trick seems to be to keep an incoming flow of new ghosts or tiles or whatever you want to call them. Anyhow, let's take a look at the high scores. How many winners have we got? So basically that was my second attempt there. And that was my first one. So, yeah, okay. Did okay. I suppose... No, me being the only one having played it, it's only my scores that will be in there. Right, so you can only see the scores of your current mode. So let's see if we can check one of the other ones. Yep. I suspect Drop is the one that will be the most limited. Oh, I have actually played this before. Okay. That's good to know. So, what do I think of this game? Well, it's pretty much like all of the other versions of it, except it's got a little bit more because you can change the basic mechanics of the game a little bit. Most of the versions of this that I've played pretty much have one game mode, one of these game modes in it, but not all of them. And I think you can get it on almost any device nowadays. I remember playing it on my Android phone at one point. But this is quite an impressive port for GWBasic. I'll see if there's any information here about when he made it. Because I've actually noticed in some of these games that they were actually built and compiled in 2004, which makes them even more remarkable, because they're very well crafted, and they certainly do quite well, really. But there doesn't seem to be any information about this one in it. So I think we'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like if you want to watch more, and we'll catch you next time.